How's it? Paul Cooper here, and I'm going to show you how to assemble your unifoil setup. First thing we're going to do is remove the covers. This setup came with a 3-pack of tails, now let's get our hardware and put this thing together. First thing we're going to do is attach the T-nuts to the M8 bolts. We'll need 4 of these. Now we'll place them into the tracks of our board. Make sure you leave enough room for the mast to be placed between them. Once we find the position of the mast we are happy with, we're going to slide the bolts into the slots of the mast. Then we're going to tighten with a T40 wrench. Make sure you grip it and tighten it firmly. Now we're going to go ahead and put the front wing on. If it goes on a little crooked, put a little bit of pressure from the top to make sure that it seats in correctly. Now we're going to take our M8 bolts and hand start them first. Then we're going to take our T40 wrench and tighten them one at a time, switching back and forth as we get tighter and tighter. Once again, we're going to make sure that the front wing is completely down on the mast. Now we're going to switch tools, so you push down on the wrench, flipping it around to give you the T30 wrench size. Now we're going to take our M6 bolts and attach our fuselage. After we slot in the tail fuselage, we're going to go ahead and hand start the M6 screws to make sure that we have a secure connection. Then we're going to tighten that down with our T30 torque wrench. Once again, we're going to go one at a time and then alternating between the two once we get them really tight. Now we're going to go ahead and put our tail on. First thing we're going to do is place the shim under the tail and put the M6 screws into the holes, lining up the shim. Then we're going to place that on the tail fuselage and hand start our M6 screws into the tail fuselage. Then we're going to use our T30 torque wrench to tighten them down. Once again, alternating between the two to get them really tight. Make sure everything is in there perfectly, checking the levels. And to make sure everything is tight, we're going to take our regular wrench. This is a T30, comes with your kit, and we're going to tighten that down. And then we're going to switch over to our T40 for the last two M8 bolts. Make sure those are nice and tight. Now we're going to go through some differences. If you're going to use a number 3 shim, there is a little bit longer M6 screw that you're going to want to use to make sure that it seats in correctly. That's going to go in the front hole of the tail because it's a little bit thicker on that number 3 shim. You're going to use the standard M6 screw in the back. If you're going to use our wing nuts in order to move your mast position while in the water easily, you're going to loosen those up. You can move your mast position in the water. Once you have that dialed in, go ahead and hand tighten those. If you have a wing that comes with a 1-hole fuse, you want to make sure you push that in really tight. It's a little bit snugger fit than the 2-hole, and the way that you remove it is by twisting it back and forth a little.